Zabunga 360 inMotion presents choice cuts. We are sharing choice cut, excerpt, from the full stream of the joint and collaborative project by the Red Monkey Talks and the Zabunga 360 inMotion channels. The full video is the first in-focus main feature of the Red Monkey Talks show dealing with the Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante bridge disaster of September 16, 1972, and related trivia. It is our objective to expand the narrative, finally fill missing details, and shed the light and information for many who were not around yet when the unfortunate event occurred. Based from the original text published online in Zabunga360.net. This edition contains a revised long-form narrative with additional, comprehensive and updated information. From the script by Japadupi under the direction and technical supervision of Danton Pascal. Subscribe to our channels, like our content, leave a comment, and ring the notification bell to get timely updates. When you like and share our content, you help increase the visibility and distribution of our posts. Your support will also contribute in a huge way to the awareness for others who could learn a thing or two from our content. Now, for our choice cut presentation here. Are in focus for this first edition, we recall and discuss the tragedy that happened 5 decades ago, during a religious celebration of the transfer of the venerated images of the Virgin of Penafrancia and the El Divino Rostro, via a fluvial procession on the Naga River in the city of Naga, Bicol region, the Philippines. Our program's pre-content features the quick rerun of Traslasian procession and celebration, which involved the transfer of the images from the Penafrancia shrine to the Naga Metropolitan Cathedral. Then, followed by a quick pre-fluvial celebration and departure from the cathedral towards the Naga River embarkation landing. We also included during our main discussion and recollection, more snippets of the fluvial coverage, the modern and safe version in the current format of observing the religious celebration. Welcome to our first official long-form outing of Red Monkey Talks show. We are glad and thank you for joining us. In this extended full narrative, we present all the salient details, which include drama and sorrow, personalities and people involved, surrounding the Naga City Colgante bridge disaster. This whole show shares much of remembrance and recall of the tragedy, and then some. Remembering the sorrows and pain of Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante bridge tragedy of September 16, 1972. We enriched our discussion with narratives of people who shared their very personal eyewitness account of the ensuing events. Our team took an extra mile and visited the home, or what was before the location, of Mila Obia's former residence. In a hurried and short conversation with her brother Renato, we learned a new, revealing and perplexing information which we are glad to share. We also visited DJ Gladinora, who now resides in Legazpi City, with her home in an appointed location, with an amazing front row view of the majestic Mount Main. The Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante bridge disaster of September 16, 1972, is a joint project of the Red Monkey Talks and Zabunga 360 inMotion. Interview, research and script by Japadupi, direction and technical supervision by Danton Pascal. Previously, the text was published online in Zabunga360.net, in a 2-part story, The Sorrows and Pain of the Colgante Bridge Disaster of September 16, 1972. This new comprehensive edition comes with more updated information in exhaustive long narrative format. Before we start, thank you for listening and watching this portion of the Red Monkey Talks show, which is also being shared by Zabunga360 inMotion. Please subscribe, leave a comment, like and share this post, and hit the notification bell. It meant so much for us. Your support will contribute in a huge way to the awareness for others who could learn a thing or two from our content. This early, we extend our big thank you to all supporting our channels. When you like and share our content, you help increase the visibility and distribution of our posts. Imagine, if we can freely check out the pun and pinch news, information, and culture you need to know. And please continue watching as we move on with the show. remembering the sorrows and pain of Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante Bridge tragedy of September 16, 1972. Long ago during the month of September, some 51 years ago in our fast recall, and counting. Remembering the sorrows and pain of Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante Bridge tragedy of September 16, 1972. Welcome to our first official long-form outing of Red Monkey Talks show. We are glad and thank you for joining us. In this extended full narrative, we present all the salient details, which include drama and sorrow, personalities and people involved, surrounding the Naga City Colgante Bridge disaster. This whole show shares much of remembrance and recall of the tragedy, and then some. Remembering Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante Bridge disaster of September 16, 1972. Long ago during the month of September, some 51 years ago in our fast recall, and counting. It was Saturday, September 16, 1972, at Barrio del Carmen, Calabunga, Camarines Sur. At the residence of the Abias family. About 11 o'clock, Emerita Abias was done cleaning the dining table, removing the plates, spoons and forks, and drinking glasses. Her daughter Mila finished an early lunch than usual. The mother hugged and bade and wished her good luck. Then, Mila went on rushing for the door to catch the next jeepney ride for Naga City. Earlier, the mother pressed Mila's dress for a very important occasion. Mila, the eldest of the Abias children, was a college student of the Catholic and Jesuit-administered Ateneo de Naga College. Very recently, she passed the audition in the search for a new disc jockey and announcer of radio stations DZGE and DWEB-FM of Filipinas Broadcasting Network, with main regional and broadcast offices at Baras, Conaman. Part of Mila's on-the-job training was repertorial and coverage of live events. On that fateful day, the radio stations were bound to cover the Traslacion and fluvial procession of the Virgin of Penafrancia and the venerated image of the El Divino Rostro. It was the transfer and return of the images from the Naga Cathedral to the Penafrancia Shrine. The religious event was, and still is, like a clockwork, every year. It features a walking procession or traslacion, a fluvial procession which is a barge ride, using a specially built watercraft referred to as pagoda, and tugged along by boats, that navigates upstream the Naga River. And then, onto the third and last leg, highlights a short walking procession from the river bank, up until the Penafrancia Shrine, the permanent residence of the images. The 10-kilometer ride from Calabunga to Baras almost took her 30 minutes. A good clearance, Mila thought. She arrived at the station on time. Just in time, walkie-talkies were being distributed to reporters and announcers. During a previous staff meeting, they were given post assignments and timings of spot location on the fluvial coverage. As a rookie announcer, Mila was assigned to cover the procession in partner with a senior radio DJ. Her first posting was a vantage point near the gate fronting the main building of the Colegio de Santa Isabel or CSI. It was in that spot that the images were supposed to come out of the Metropolitan Cathedral and Parish of St. John the Evangelist, right after the last 2 o'clock afternoon Mass. Past the hour of 12 noon, September 16, 1972, location, near the CSI. FBN senior DJs Glati Nor A and her boyfriend Tanging Pogia Larry B went to savor the fiesta atmosphere and merry proceedings. They first dropped by the house of her co-teacher nearby for a much-needed lunch break. Nora, other than working in FBN, was also teaching at the elementary department of the CSI. She was detailed to cover and relay on the spot, voice feed report of the fluvial portion, via the reporting point on the Colgante Bridge. Already, the remote coverage crew of the radio stations had begun with the airing of the Mass inside the Metropolitan Cathedral, which ended at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Past the hour of 3. It was Mila's turn. Rookie Mila went on air. Her report described the vivid details of the goings-on, the volume of people about the street, as far as her eyes saw, the many more who hustled and pushed, wanting to get near the images. She was well adept at her reporting. The station executives at the base were confident they selected the right one. FBN Regional Manager Salvio Fortuno was monitoring the live coverage of his team on board the announcer's booth. It was a smooth sailing stint of the coverage so far, he mused. The procession part went well, like the previous years. It featured the images exiting the Naga Metropolitan Cathedral. The images were carried on the shoulders of male voyagers, through a structure called undas. Only male devotees were allowed to carry the image, historically and religiously, ever since the devotion was begun in the year of 1710 or so. That was 262 years ago. Male devotees took turns in carrying the images on designated stations, and made the procession time-consuming and almost directionless. It took longer time for the procession in navigating the streets, and reached the landing site by the Topico Bridge. It was there that the waiting watercraft was anchored. And eventually, past the hour of 4 in the afternoon, the images were loaded on the Vanquerna, the makeshift barge. Earlier, the Naga River has swollen in height due to generous rain. Many religious devotees believe the rain is a miracle that happens, like a clockwork, too, every year, and before or during the Peñafrancia Fluvials. Rainfall generously add a good volume of needed water on the shallow tributary of the Bicol River, which enables the barge to sail on, in an unobstructed course. Between the hour of 4:30 and 4:45 in the afternoon, the fluvial entourage came into full view by the Colgante vantage report point. Reporters from different radio stations including DZRB, DZDR, DZXN, and DZG, located themselves nearer on the mid of the hanging and jiggly wood contraption of a bridge, the Colgante. From the elevated structure, one can see the Metropolitan Naga Cathedral, which was a stone's throw away, but also a few meters from the nearest and corner building of the CSI. I think it was about in the year of 1970 when I first saw Colgante Bridge, according to Joseph Ivan Ubuco's posted lengthy recollection. Weeks before my first visit to Colgante Bridge, my friends warned me to walk carefully while crossing the Colgante Bridge, because it is a very old and rickety structure. My brother even told me that you could actually make the whole bridge shake by just jumping hard on the middle of it. My friends also advised me not to cross the bridge when darkness falls, because carnivorous evil spirits are believed to rise from the bottom of the bridge, to grab unsuspecting people who happen to be crossing the bridge at night. The lady in white is also known to live underneath the bridge, and sings enchanting songs to lure unsuspecting locals to their demise. No Filipino horror story is complete unless the white lady sings. One afternoon, Ubuco continued his recollection. My brother and I decided to check out the Colgante Bridge, and see if the stories we have heard were indeed true. After school at around 5 p.m., we went to the bridge and stood at the western end of the bridge, by the Penafrancia Avenue side. I looked at its foundation, and saw a few large wooden posts, some of which were slightly leaning. To make sure it was safe to cross, we waited for a car to cross over the bridge. After a few minutes, we saw a car drive up to the bridge. The car stopped at the beginning of the bridge, and the driver shifted to gear number 1 before proceeding cautiously. I noticed that the whole bridge swayed slightly while the car was crossing. We waited for a few minutes for the shaking of the bridge to stop, before my brother and I decided to cross it. Joseph added that my brother was braver than I, and so he casually walked over the bridge like it was not a big deal. While I was crossing the bridge, I extended my arms horizontally to keep my balance even, and made sure that every wooden plank that I stepped on would hold my weight before taking another step. I became terrified when I saw that one of the wooden planks on the pedestrian path was missing. My brother, who was then standing on the other side of the bridge, ridiculed me and kept on shouting for me to hurry up. He said,
Ivan, para mabalyo ka lang ning tulay? Sobraman ang kaartehan mo. Dalian mo tatiba at abuton kita ning matangang banggi digdi.
Ivan, all you need to do is cross the bridge. Quit acting up. Hurry because I don't want to wait for you until midnight, Ivan noted. Colgante is a Spanish-derived word that loosely means hanger hanging. The exact location of the hanging or suspension wood bridge is at a mid-section of the short Santunja Street. It served as the main cross-link between Penafrancia Avenue and Blumentritt Street of Barrio de Hyangding, on the other side of the Naga River. The old bridge, which was damaged before, was repaired and reconstructed as a somewhat weak hanging wood bridge. The undermanned Naga City police force assigned in the area made it clear, but was too helpless to enforce, that only media personalities in broadcast and print covering the fluvial event, and few people were allowed to stay in the area. The devout Catholics and enthusiasts were not contained, however. It was jam-packed to the hilt by the hundreds. Earlier in the afternoon, a sudden change of anchors on the base required DJs, Nora and Larry, to return and went back to the radio broadcast office, upon learning that Mila was reassigned to cover the Colgante reporting point, together with assistant station manager Sal Orban. Nora then went on board and received reports from the field. When I left home to watch the 1972 fluvial procession, Roti to Hinova Valiente, I told my parents and relatives that I was going to watch the procession near the Colgante Bridge. My high school classmates were with me that day, and when we reached an area near the Colgante Bridge, we saw that the crowd was thick as a beehive. We decided not to squeeze through the crowd, but instead decided to visit the home of a lovely girl, Valiente wrote. I left the house with my older first cousin, Benner Manolig, that day to watch the Penafrancia Fluvial procession, Chadilak Kindanim, wrote. Before we left, my mother told my cousin,
Bantayan mo yan si Judy. Day mo pabayaan, tay ka ang matuwa.
Watch your cousin Chodi. Do not leave him because you are older. My cousin obediently agreed to my mother. Chadi continued, my cousin suggested that we watch the fluvial procession at the Colgante Bridge. When we got to the bridge, we saw a lot of people on it. There were children and teenagers swimming on the river near the bridge, and some children would go to the top middle part of the bridge and jump to the river. I also saw ice cream vendors chiming their tiny bells, balloon vendors waiting for customers, and balut vendors roaming among the crowd. The atmosphere was merry and relaxed, Chadi recalled. The Colgante Bridge, a 15-year-old structure of steel girders and wood planks, groaned under the weight of over 100 of warm bodies. Nobody, not even the public safety authorities assigned overseeing the area, had a good and exact count of the people on its belly. But they knew too well that beyond 100 folks on the bridge was more than too many. We have been waiting at the bridge for about an hour already, Chadi continued, when I felt the bridge sway a little bit. I heard a teenager shout,
Magagaba na ang tulay.
The bridge is going to collapse. Something inside me told me to leave the bridge. When I told my cousin that I wanted to leave, he became upset, telling me,
Ano ka naman, Judy? Itong harani ng mag-abot ang pagoda? Saka man gusto mong maghali. Kung gusto mong umuli, magsudo kang umuli.
What's the matter with you, Chadi? Just when the barge carrying the image is about to arrive, you decide that you want to leave. If you want to go home alone. I responded to my cousin,
Mapuli ako, pero bahala kang mag-eksplika kay nanay.
I am going home alone, but you have to explain this to mom. This made Benner worried because he remembered that my mother specifically instructed him to watch over me. Benner was quite perturbed when we left Colgante Bridge, relieved, Chadi thought. Over at the Colgante, Mila and Sal were trapped by warm bodies, edging for the vantage view of the approaching Vanquerna, carrying the images of the Virgin of Penafrancia and the Divino Rostro. But this did not prevail them from reporting the events. As the view of the pagoda became more visible, the people's built-up excitement and expectation became more heightened, and restlessness grew more. And the more the people oogled, the more the thick crowd jostled for a good view. Some were praying the rosary, many were chanting Viva la Virgen and Viva el Divino Rostro. The bridge seemed to jolt, in uncontrolled motion, like swing and vibrating. The pagoda was approximately between 800 and 850 feet away from the bridge. At a distance, and viewed from the Vanquerna, the Colgante Bridge looked beautiful, with colorful buntings, and adorned with different lighted colored bulbs. As the near-dying sun slowly poised its descent, the bridge's silhouette on the Naga River provided a lovely backdrop for the still unfolding, almost near culmination, of the Penafrancia religious festivities. It was the perfect scene of the tableau, of combined sights and sounds, rowdy, expectant, religious and yet merry. On the Colgante, the religious faithful, the enthusiasts, and the visitors jostled for a better view of the fluvial scenario down on the river, about 30 feet below. The same commotion on the bridge and fluvial scene on the river that Mila Bias and Sal Orban, of radio stations DZGE and DWEBFM were describing. You have just watched a choice cut excerpt from the first in focus main feature of the Red Monkey Talks show, dealing with the Peñafrancia Fluvial Colgante Bridge disaster of September 16, 1972, and related trivia. From the joint and collaborative project by the RMT and the Zabunga 360 inMotion channels. Based from the original text published online in zabunga360.net. This edition contains a revised long-form narrative with additional, comprehensive and updated information. From the script by Japadupi under the direction and technical supervision of Danton Pascual. Subscribe to our channels, like our content, leave a comment, and ring the notification bell to get timely updates. When you like and share our content, you help increase the visibility and distribution of our posts. Your support will also contribute in a huge way to the awareness for others who could learn a thing or two from our content. Thanks for watching.